What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Green Dreamers. I'm your host, Nate, and today we are back and in business. I know that there's been a minute since my last episode, but I was recently in the process of moving, so last month was a little crazy. That's the reason for the break. But we're back again today, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video. My original thought for this video was going to be a little different than what we've been doing in the past. I wanted to talk about a specific type of Thrones event. It's been described as the war format where players are drafted onto teams. I had actually lined up some interviews and talked to some people already, but unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts and some technical difficulties, I will not be putting that out this episode. So I might do that in the future because I do think it's a very interesting topic. So look out for that. But today we're just going to keep it nice and simple. Just, reintroduce people to Green Dreamers. It seems like I've been gone for a minute. You guys might have even forgotten I was here, but we are back and we're going to talk about just a fun deck that me and my buddy have been kind of messing around with. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the best deck ever, but I guarantee if you play this deck, you will have a fun time playing. So we're just going to build the deck today, and then probably later this week, I'll play some games on Iron Throne and just kind of get back to the roots of what Green Dreamers has been this season. So we're not going to waste any time here. We got Thrones DB all set up, and the deck we are going to build today that's super fun is a Greyjoy Drown God deck. Most people hear Greyjoy and they're like, oh, another Greyjoy deck. But I promise you, this is completely different from the tier 1 nonsense you guys have been just dealing with in the past. It's not your typical good stuff, big guy deck. This is totally different. If you've never played with a Drown God deck, I highly recommend it. You guys are going to have a lot of fun. I know because I've had a lot of fun playing. I can say firsthand, I don't win every game, but every game I play, I usually have a great time. So my buddy and I were kicking around the agenda, what would work best for this deck, and we settled on the Wars to Come. We came to this conclusion when deciding our restricted choice. We were thinking, maybe choose Iron Mines to save our characters, but honestly, after playtesting a lot, we really didn't need to save any of our characters. That was never really an option. The games usually don't go anywhere near 10 plots, and that's not the reason we run Wars to Come. The reason we do Wars to Come is to give us a toolbox, if you will. We run 10 different plots so that we can, adequately answer any situation we're in. And so that's the reason behind the agenda. Um, for this deck, I'm just going to start off with the characters. I know some people, and I think I've mentioned this in the past, do plots first, and that's totally fine, but I'm just going to kick it off with the characters and kind of explain my plot choices after the deck has been built. So it's a Drown God deck. We're going to include 3 of these guys. This guy is awesome. He gets you power every time a character, or every time he's killed, and he's a Drown God. Perfect. Damphair is great. He puts characters back into play. Now, a lot of the characters in this deck don't have the Ironborn trait, but some of them do. And his ability to put characters into play from your dead pile is going to be very useful. I don't think we need 3 Damphair in this deck, but I definitely want to see at least 1, so I think 2 is a good number. Immediately, you see me passing by the bombs. We don't want Asha, we don't want Balon. We're not focusing on playing out these big, impressive Greyjoy characters. We want Drowned Gods. And this guy, the Drowned Disciple, is really the linchpin of the deck. He says, after a character enters play from your dead pile, choose a Drowned God character and have it gain a power. So this is how your engine works. This is how you're going to get power is characters are going to enter play from the dead pile, and then this guy's going to net you power. The fact that he's non-unique means if you have multiple copies of him in play, you're going to get multiple power every time a character comes into play. So that's a no-brainer. Now, a good Greyjoy card we are going to be running is the Drowned God Fanatic. This guy is obviously an amazing card, but he works so well in this deck specifically. Not only the fact that he's a Drowned God, but he has a come into play from your dead pile effect, which is great. Yeah, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Three of him. This guy over here, Drowned God's Apostle, another Drowned God character. I like him because he's Ironborn. He kind of combos with Aaron Damphair a little bit, and he is another character that brings people in from the dead pile, which is just more fuel for Drowned Disciples. So we're going to put three of him in there. Drowned Prophet, after playing with this guy a lot, I really like him because he seeds your dead pile for the exact cards you need. You know, you could pick a Drowned God Fanatic. If you have Tarl the Thrice Drowned, where you can play non-unique Drowned Gods from your dead pile, he's really good at getting you the exact cards you need. So definitely go with three of him. In one iteration of this deck, we were running Drowned Men, but after like a lot of playtesting, he was just too costly and his effect was so underwhelming that we ended up cutting him from the deck. So we're not running Drowned Men. We really aren't running any warships in this deck, so it didn't make sense to include him. If you guys build this deck, feel free to make any changes, obviously, that you see fit, but just for this version, we did not include him. So we're scrolling right past Euron. We're not going to waste our time with that guy. Too expensive. We don't even really need these reducers. I think the deck is kind of tight. We don't need that. We don't need Murnmere. He's not a Drowned God. Okay, Old Grey Gold. This guy is awesome. He kills Drowned Gods like that Acolyte of the Waves, who every time he dies, he gets a power. You can kill that guy. You can kill your Drowned God Fanatic and put it back in your hand. This guy is really good, and he's an Ironborn, so we want to see him. I think 3 is too many because he is unique, so we're just going to go with 2. And we want, this guy's a non-unique Drowned God character. That power icon is really going to be super critical to the deck. You're only going to win one challenge each. You're going to prioritize one challenge, and that's going to be the power challenge. So that beefy, fat power icon and his ability that can help you win dominance, we're going to go with 3 of him. Priest of the Drowned God, this is a no-brainer. Each Drowned God character gets +1 strength. Non-unique, we're doing 3 of that guy for sure. And we already picked our restricted cards, so we're not doing Raider from Pike. In this deck, we really don't have a lot of location control. We were also kind of short on military icons and sheep characters, so we decided to run Stony Shore Raider. This character is an Ironborn, so it kind of combos with Damphair a little bit, and its effect can be helpful in certain matchups. Kneeling a crucial location at the right time can be very helpful, so we went 3 of this character. I would argue that this is probably a character you can cut in favor of another character, but personally I just kind of like how cheap and sort of efficient it is. Tarl the Thrice Drowned, this guy is money. He's going to allow you to marshal non-unique Drowned God characters from your dead pile as if they were in your hand. So his ability, when you bring a character out of the dead pile, works with the Drowned Disciple that nets you power every time you do that. So if you get him and you have a Drowned Disciple or 2, it's pretty disgusting when you get all those cards out. I think that might be it. We don't have any more Drowned God characters. Oh, there is one character I forgot. So for a little bit of control and icon spreading, I was running 2 Old Bill Bone. He's not a Drowned God character, but he does have a cheap military icon, and if you're running up against Sea of Blood, which can be super annoying to deal with, he can be pretty good. So I think just 1 of him is fine, and then we're going to do 1 Theon Greyjoy, and we're not doing the Little Theon, and here's why. The Little Theon is very good, but he's only really good when he's by himself in a challenge. We are going to do some really big power challenges, so Little Theon doesn't work as well in that regard. So we're going to go with Big Theon here, throwback to the core set. I don't know if you guys even knew that this card existed. I know I haven't played with him or seen him in years, but this guy's actually pretty good for the deck. He's got the Ironborn trait, which works with Damphair, He's got stealth, which is great. You can pretty much guarantee you win the power challenge you need to. And then if they unoppose it, that's just gravy. So we're going to put Theon in there and take a look at our characters. I think 33 is plenty, you know. We'll head over to our attachments. The attachments aren't going to be too crazy. We're going to run 3 of the Driftwood Cudgel. This card, although errated, as you can see here, will still get you a power every time that the attached character dies. So if you have 1 or 2 of these out and you're killing characters, that's another way to get power. And the +1 strength for each character in your dead pile racks up really fast. So this is definitely an attachment that's worth running 3 of. And then for a little bit of control, just to kind of answer some problem characters, we're going to do 3 milks. And I think we'll call that a day. I don't know that we need any other, like, we don't need Drowned God Blessing, I don't think. I think 6 attachments is fine. We'll head over to our locations. I would like to run Gates of the Moon, and one of our plots we're probably going to do at the gates. So just 1 Gates of the Moon is fine. Great Wick is this card where it's obviously got the Drowned God trait, so you think this is a great card for a Drowned God deck. You know, after characters enter play from your dead pile, each opponent chooses and discards a card from their hand. I don't like this location at all. It's too expensive at 3 gold. And the fact that it's limited to once per phase just is, it's pretty useless. So we're not going to waste our time with that. This deck does not have a ton of draw, so I would like to have some Iron Gates in here for, you know, just draw when you need it, economy when you don't. We are also going to be running some Nagus Ribs. This card is awesome, helps you win dominance, which is important at getting some power, and it makes sure any character that goes to your discard pile ends up in your dead pile, which combos well with many of the other cards that we've already put in this deck. So we want to see it, but we don't need dupes necessarily, so I think 2 is fine. Old Wick is a great card. This brings characters into play from your dead pile, which triggers a lot of our other effects. So again, with Nagus Ribs, we're only going to be doing 2. I don't think we need 3, but I think 2 is the right call. We want some economy, obviously. Sea Tower's good. And is there anything else that we need? Probably some Rose Roads just to round out our economy. But I think those are all the locations we really need. Oh, you know what? Let's put in an Iron Throne. Let's put in 2 Iron Throne for added dominance winning. That works with Dampere. That works with, oh, shoot. The other drowned guy that kills himself after you win dominance. Let's also put in some cards that get us power. Starry Sept will reward us on our power challenges when we win them, and we don't have a faction kneel going on right now, so Stree of the Sisters, just a one of these cute little cards that really reward us for our power challenges. We just want these cards that are going to reward us for winning our big power challenges. So our events are definitely going to reflect that. We are going to keep it very simple with the events. We're going to be running Superior Claim. That'll get us our power quickly. It also rewards us for winning those big power challenges. And then we're going to be running Support of the People. Another card that rewards us for winning a big power challenge, and it can grab us those like one-of locations, like Street of Sisters, which we can then immediately trigger, or Starry Sept, again, we can immediately trigger that. We can grab Nagus Ribs if we need to. And I talked earlier about how we weren't running Iron Mines because we didn't really feel a need to save any of our characters. So we are not going to do Risen. We are just going to keep it there. So we're at 63 cards. I know a lot of people think that's a lot, but honestly, in my experience, 63 cards does not make a huge difference. So we're just going to stick with that. And we'll come over to the plots. I know a lot of people like to do these first, and I think that's fine, but I'm going to show you why we included the cards in the deck because of these plots. So we've got 10 plots to pick from. The first one here we're going to pick is a Feast for Crows. we're going to be winning dominance a lot. We run 2 Iron Throne. We run 2 Nagus Ribs, so we are going to guarantee win dominance a lot. So with Feast for Crows and winning dominance, that's 3 power in 1 turn. That's a quick way to get some power. This deck, when it gets going, will win power very quickly. So that's a great way to win some power fast. The typical opener that we're going to go with is At the Gates. We have 1 Gates of the Moon in the deck for that. If we end up setting up Gates of the Moon, totally fine. We'll probably pick a different opener besides At the Gates if that's the case. That's why we're running 10 plots, to give us those options. But if we don't see Gates of the Moon, we'll just open up with At the Gates and get our economy going pretty quickly. So just moving down the line, taking a look at some of these plots. We're going to run 1 Confiscation. I like this because people run Milk of the Poppy a lot, and that's kind of annoying to deal with. So Confiscation can take care of, if there's a milk on Tarl, or maybe there's a ward on one of your Drowned Gods. You want to be able to just get that off the table if you need to. So 1 Confiscation is fine. I really like Exchange of Information. The deck, again, does not have a lot of draw, but we do have a lot of characters, locations, attachments, and events. We've got a good spread of all of that. So you are probably going to get 3 to 4 cards consistently with this plot. So I definitely like this. Just moving down the line. Ghosts of Harrenhal is a great card for this deck. This plot puts a character into play from your dead pile, which triggers a lot of effects that we have, like Drowned Disciple. So this is a really good card. Can also be used to get back a Tarl or a Dampare maybe if they're in the dead pile. I really like this. I usually end up playing this on the turn that I'm going to close the game. So we're just going to put that in there and move along. Late Summer Feast is probably going to be our other opener, or just a later economy plot if we need it. I'm choosing this over trading with the Pentoshi for the reason that we're not going to be winning a lot of challenges. We don't need to. This deck is really good at getting passive power, and so you don't need to win challenges. We're just going to win the power challenge. That's the one challenge we prioritize. So giving your opponent 1 card probably is worth the 9 gold. So we're sticking with that, and we are moving along. Looking at some other plots. What else did I run in this deck? Okay, so as far as a reset goes, Valor kind of seems like a good choice because a lot of our characters, we can marshal out of the dead pile, or, we can bring them back from the dead, basically. But I really don't want to kill our characters because we don't have any way to save them. Not that we really need to, but I don't want to be the one initiating, the killing of the characters. So I would rather have Dahyrus. Most of our characters are super cheap. Our highest cost character is 5, so if we need a reset, this will work. If we don't, I think it's fine. Vanquish the Unbelievers seems like an easy call for this deck. Most of our cards are Drowned God. We have a few cards that aren't, but if that's the case, we can maybe, seed our dead pile for Nagus Ribs or Driftwood Cudgel, or we can just not play this. We have 10 plots. We're probably not going to play every plot, but 582 seems pretty good, so we will include that. I don't really want We Take Westeros. I know it's an amazing plot, but for this deck, we really don't have any way to get rid of locations. Not that we need to, but, it just seems weird to run this plot without a way to discard your opponent's locations. So we're just going to skip over that. And the deck does not have a lot of draw, so we're going to run Win or Die. And this also works really well because we have Nagus Ribs, which puts characters into our dead pile from the discard pile. So if we have 0 reserve and we have to discard our characters, they can just go straight in the dead pile. Let's take a look at how many plots that is. That's 9 plots. So we need 1 more plot. And let's just scroll through. Oh, I know which plot we need. I want this one, Compelled by the Faith. So we are going to put a lot of power on characters, and we are going to have no way to save those characters. Again, it's not going to be a problem. We don't really care that these characters are dying. It would kind of suck if we had a character with, 5, 6, 7 power on it that dies. But that's why I want to run this plot, move each power from each garden play to its controller's faction. If you know that they're going to reset, just play this and boom, your power is protected. So we are going to have that. And then, yeah, this looks like our deck here. This looks pretty good. 10 plots, characters, attachments. Yeah, looks good. I'm excited to play with this deck. Later this week, I'll be putting out a video where I'm playing with it on the Iron Throne. I will leave a link in the description of this video. You guys can download this deck and play it if you want. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. But you can watch me play it later this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I really appreciate your patience and understanding in that regard. If you haven't already, please throw me a like and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. I've had so many people come up to me at tournaments saying they've enjoyed these videos, and you guys have no idea what that means to me. I make these videos for fun. I think it's fun making these videos, but just hearing you guys, like, you really appreciate it. That just means the world to me. So thank you so much for listening, watching, and I will catch you next time on Green Dreamers.